What's going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television. I want to thank all of you today for stopping by. I hope that each and every one of you remember how awesome and amazing you are. Whatever you're doing in your life, keep up the great work. Keep being that positive change that the world needs in nowadays. However, we're going to be getting into a comic book review. Woo! We're going to be continuing our coverage on catching up with the Uncanny X-Men. We are currently at issue number 9 here at the channel. And yes, I am aware that the Uncanny X-Men at the time of this recording is at near issue 20. Okay, I understand. I know what's going on, guys. Of course, Gail Simone as the writer, Matthew Wilson as the colorist, Andre Breslin as the artist. Okay, and then this particular cover is done by, and I kind of put myself up in the ass for not. I want to see. I think, man, why am I think that this particular cover was done by Mike Mayhew, but I can be wrong. This particular cover. I could be wrong. I forgot to research who did this particular cover. Sorry for not being able to give proper credit at the moment. But with the first story arc done, and the second story arc being two-issue crossover with the X-Men title, Raid on Grey Malkin, we are starting now with a new story on the Uncanny X-Men side. And we get introduced to the Wolfpack, Wolf Sentinels. And the person in head of this particular project, so to speak, is Larry Trask, Oliver Trask's son, the man who originally created the Sentinels. And it looks like young Larry here has decided to pick up in his father's footsteps, secretly running Sentinel factories or compounds. And what Larry is trying to do is unveil a new Sentinel program that he can sell to the highest bidders in order to rid. Like if I'm a leader of a country, he's hoping that I buy these Sentinel wolves to rid my country of mutants. And at one point, this is the opening panel here. At one point, the leader of the country that he's trying to sell these wolf packs to, these Sentinel wolves to, he asked, can we program them to eliminate political targets that are not mutants? And Larry says, we sell you the hardware. Whatever you decide to do with it is of your own volition, so to speak. But to prove how well these things work, we set up a little test here, and of course they're going to have the same kind of adaptation skills as the Sentinel. And what winds up happening is that they kill this volunteer, if you will, and tear him to shreds. And I will say that, yeah, they're pretty nasty. And the leader is like, yeah, how many can I get? You know, how many can I get? We pick up at Haven in Louisiana with the Uncanny X-Men team here. They're all drinking beers. Gambit's complaining a little bit about the beer that Nightcrawler got from Germany. And they had a little discussion about what's the best beer, so to speak. Right here, we see Ransom. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because at that current time, Wolverine was talking about reminding the audience that one of the four outlier mutants that they're training is supposed to be prophesized to be the mutant who destroys all other mutants. So Calico, Jitter, Deathstream, and Ransom, one of those four is supposed to be the one to end it all, so to speak. And Ransom decides to, looks like he's getting ready to leave. It looks like Calico's getting ready to leave. Jitter sees her wanting to leave. However, Jitter is going to convince her to stay. And we get Deathstream here in the graveyard, chilling. Don't forget he can communicate with the dead and have them do things that he wants them to do. Now, what has happened is that Wolverine isn't necessarily trying to be a jerk, but he said, we don't know what these kids' powers can do yet, and we threw them into battle. And plus, then we're supposed to find out which one of these kids may be the end of it all. And so we should probably. The idea is that each X-Men on this particular team is going to pick one of the students to mentor and teach and kind of build more trust between the students and the teachers, so to speak. Here, it looks like Gambit and Nightcrawler are starting to get kind of like a buddy, more of a. It seems like they're becoming best friends, maybe. They still. They're still kind of talking about the beer and stuff like that. But as we come across Jitter and Calico looks like she was cleaning up more so than getting ready to leave. But Calico and Jitter seem to maybe forming a little romance, so to speak, because Calico was explaining how she used to enjoy ballet, but she never really got to dance with a partner because her mother didn't really want her to be touched by anybody. So Jitter's power is that she can become an expert at anything for a minute straight. And she decides to be, they're called prima ballerinas, like they're the best, of the best, you know what I mean? That type of ballerina. And they dance together. And it's a very intimate thing that they're doing. It's, I think, very interesting that they're going to go that route between Jitter and Calico, because Calico has went from being, and I'm not saying that these other students haven't been isolated in their life, but like before Ransom's powers kicked in, he came from a wealthy family. Deathstream, well, he's kind of had a tragic backstory himself also. But Calico, I guess, never really had much interaction or touch with anybody. And forget about having friends, forget about having even a boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever she would have wanted to have. So I think that this is going to wind up being kind of like a sweet little romance in bloom, so to speak, because they just seem to really work off each other well. I believe Jitter and Calico do. Here we see Wolverine kind of convincing Ransom to stay, because Wolverine's going to be his mentor. Jubilee is going to be Deathstream's mentor, and so here we go. Wolverine and him having a back and forth, and him getting convinced. And then the next day, Jubilee is wanting the kids to be kids, and what she does is she gives each of the four kids $400, and they're gonna drop them off at the mall to go on a little shopping spree, and kind of just feel like what it is to be kids. And Wolverine, being the old man father, is like, should we follow them? Jubilee's like, no, Dad, no. let them be kids. Let them eat cake, if you will, right? And um, he even here, Death Dream is like, what's a because Ransom's like, I'm gonna buy you all cinnamon pretzels on me, and Death Dream's like, what's a pretzel? What's cinnamon? And he's really loving the cinnamon pretzels there. But we get the hounds, so to speak. Now these hounds, I forgot to mention back when they were introduced early in the story, they try to shut them down and they reactivated themselves. And we're going to learn that these this wolf pack, particular wolf pack, was for some reason programmed to lust for blood. Now, I don't know why you would program that into a robot or like a robot dog because I guess it's to have that hunter instinct, so to speak, that aggressive side. But like real wolves, I don't think they just hunt to hunt. I think they hunt to like they're not hunting for bloodlust. They're hunting for food. And when they fight, they're fighting for protecting themselves or their pack. They're not just like very unless I miss a part of wolf lore facts over the years. They're not just going to go after someone that's not a threat or that they don't perceive as a threat. So to me, I thought that aspect was a little silly. However, I think that the concept of the sentinel wolves is cool. I just think that that part of the bloodlust was a little unnecessary, and it's up to the kids to defend themselves. Death Dream's powers don't seem to work on inorganic material. It has to be organic material in order for his powers to have the dead do whatever he wants to actually be effective. So he's totally out of the fight at this moment, and it has to be relied on Calico, Ransom, and Jitter. Calico, I think, has some of the better looking powers because of the way she can do the horse and her armor and stuff, and the flaming sword here. So I think as far as um, how the powers actually look visually, I think hers look pretty cool. Here's Death Dream trying to get out of the way and hide and stuff like that. Ransom started looking at Death Dream as a little brother, and he gets mad at Calico for like leaving him behind a little bit. But she's like, hey, "You need me to fight with you," you know what I mean? And we wind up finding out that, we wind up seeing that these the Wolfpack wind up getting to Death Dream and taking them out. And that's the last panel of this particular issue. And I forgot to mention that when Dr. Karina Ellis, the leader, the head, the warden of Grey Malkin Prison, not the Xavier Institute, it is now called Grey Malkin Prison. When Dr. Karina Ellis found out that these particular Wolfpack sentinels went AWOL, she got really mad. Like, because she's like, they went after children. And there was an uneasy alliance between Rogue and Cyclops and her, not to purposely go after them unless there was need to, I just kind of want to come across something here because there was something earlier in this particular issue that I wanted to come across, and I wanted to see something here. I don't know how I missed this. Oh, right down here, right? Right down here, as Dr. Karina Ellis is talking about, like, she's mad about the Sentinel Wolves on on their way to hurt the children. This kind of looks like Monet from formerly of Generation X, and yeah, this looks like Monet, the character Monet. Looks like she got captured. I don't know if that's her or not, but it looks like her. It looks very similar to her outfit, well, like her X-Men outfit. If I'm mistaken, let me know down below. And so, Dr. Karina Ellis actually might, at that point, help the Uncanny X-Men team take down these Wolfpack sentinels. Who's to say? But I feel like this particular story is going to last until maybe about issue 11 or 12. We'll see. It's definitely lasting until issue 10. What are your thoughts about the Wolfpack? What are your thoughts about these four students that the Uncanny X-Men are trying to train? I think that, again, the story is coming along pretty well. There's, not without some goofy moments, or goofy ideas. But that's just me, my opinion. You let me know what you think of this series down below. I thank you for tuning in, continuing to tune in, because only together can we go straight to the moon, baby. Until next time, peace, knuckle.